Joining us this morning are nurse Naomi Brownbill, senior nurse of the Neonatal Unit, and Jurene Johnson, parent of twin preemie boys now age 15. They are here with us in recognition of World Prematurity Day, commemorated by the World Health Organization to raise awareness of premature birth and sometimes devastating effects on families. Welcome, ladies. Good morning, SKN.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Nurse Brownbill, we'll start with you. How long have you been a neonatal practitioner?
Okay. Well, after I did midwifery, that was in 2012, I went back to the maternity ward, and then shortly after I was sent to the neonatal unit. So that's like more than 8 years or more.
You've seen a lot in your time there.
Yes.
So what training and certification are needed to work in this career?
In the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, you must be a midwife in order to work at the neonatal unit. So you will do your general nursing training, and then you will go and do the specialty program, which is a midwifery program, and then they usually assign you to work in which department. So as a staff nurse means that you have done midwifery. Once you have done midwifery, you can be assigned to the neonatal unit.
All right, so we've heard a little bit of the nursing side. We're going to get to the parental side right now with you, Jurene. You are the mother of twin boys now age 15, as we said. They were born prematurely.
Yes, 26 weeks and 5 days to be exact.
What was going through your mind at the time when you realized that you were going to deliver them?
Okay, first of all, I have to say that having preemie babies is like you're living in a roller coaster. You will have good days and bad days. But my advice was you have to pray and pray a lot. You must be very patient. You must have high hopes, and you must always be very, very, very patient. In my case, my sons stopped breathing more than one occasion because of the severe prematurity. There were days when, you have your crying and your happy days. I actually spent 2.5 months in the hospital. There were moments when you're good today, and in like half an hour time, 15 minutes time, both of them stopped breathing. So it was like a matter of life and death situation. Most people see preemies as, oh, they're so small, oh, they're so cute, but mentally, it's a challenge. My sons, when they were born, they were 1 pound 14 ounces each. And I have an aunt who used to say, how do you wrap them doing? Like that, yeah. But I used to hold them in my hand just like this. When they were born in the night, really, and the pediatrician gave them 3 hours to survive at first. But I was of the opinion he's not God, and only God have the last say, and you have to have that mindset. And I always told myself that 3 of us came here and 3 of us living here, and we are living together. You must have that patience in dealing with preemies. I remember the first time when I saw them, they were wrapped in, I used to say, foil paper to make them feel like they were part of the womb still. And, seeing them, and I was like, my grandma used to say, pray. When you go in there, know your psalms, say your psalms. And I saw bigger children, more mature children come in, they go, parents come and go, and you're still there.
Yes.
But, you know, I always tell myself, I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm doing this. Well, no, they are 15. They sing, they drum, they do everything like normal children. The only problem is that they are visually impaired because they needed the oxygen to survive, and they had lots of oxygen. But back then, the hospital wasn't up to date like now, and that's a good thing. But when people see them on the street, like, oh, those are the songbirds, those are the preemie boys, and so. But no, they are taller than I am, more intelligent in some cases.
That must make you very proud, obviously.
Yes.
To see that.
One of them did an interview at the school because they go to Cotton Thomas Comprehensive School. He did an interview when he was talking about what he would like to be when he grew up. And surprisingly, he said that he wanted to work at skeleton department where he can cut off people's current, like his dad.
All right, I gotta say, your son has a good sense of humor.
I was like, are you aware that your current can be cut too? And, you know, we had a little joke about it. But they're very smart. They're doing the Braille at school. Sometimes when they come with the homework, I have to Google. Sometimes they ask questions. When I pause, they would be like, Mommy, go Google it.
Let me ask Nurse Brownbill a question here, because as we talk about that, you know, development after birth for preemies, can we expect this outcome for, you know, on average, most premature babies, or is every situation a little different?
Well, on the aspect of the oxygen, one of the things that the hospital have put in place, we now use blended oxygen. Back then, we were using plain oxygen, 100% oxygen. Now we have an equipment that breaks down the oxygen concentration, because as a premature baby, they don't need 100% oxygen because that can affect the brain and cause eye damage and so forth. So we now have an equipment that breaks down the concentration of the oxygen, and we usually give them a small percentage of the oxygen, usually 30 to 40% oxygen. It's only if the condition continues, then we increase the percentage, but we try as much as possible not to go over 50% oxygen. We also have machines now available to help these babies breathe. We use the bubble CPAP. Bubble CPAP is just a fancy word for a machine with some water that helps to decrease the pressure on the lungs as the baby breathes. So we have that machine now. We have ventilator available, and the nurses are trained how to use the ventilator, how to use the bubble CPAP machine. So those are some of the things we use for our premature babies, and we have more and more babies. Our viable age here is in our federation is 28 weeks, meaning that a baby who is at 28 weeks, we can work to help them to survive. But we still see, up to today, as she said, her babies are 26 weeks. And even up to today, we still have babies who are 26 weeks who we help to survive and who did well and was discharged, continue assessments, and has been going well, has been doing well. So we've come a long way.
Well, I'm happy to hear
Yes.
that. Definitely happy to hear that. It's kind of heart-wrenching to know what you went through because of the lack of, you know, knowledge. But I think you're doing very well with it. I'm grateful for that as well.
What goes into preparing a mother for the birth of preemies?
Well, once we know in advance that this mother is in premature labor, the obstetricians now they usually start treatment because there are medications that you can give to the mommy that will help with the baby's survival. So there are medications that you will give to help with development of the baby lungs, and there are medication that you would give to help with the baby development of the brain. So that increases the baby's chance of survival. So once we catch them early, these medication will be given, and it increases the chance of the baby survival and how well they do after birth. But there are some cases where we might not be able to catch them early enough. Early enough meaning these medication, well, the one for the lungs is usually over 2 days, and the one for the brain, they have to get it within 24 hours of delivery. So at least if we catch them at least 24 hours to 48 hours before they actually deliver. And there are some medications that we can also give which will help to slow contractions so that we can actually try to stretch the limit of time before delivery, and we try to do that as much as possible. There are some times when it may not be possible and the person might still end up going to delivering the baby. And that is something most of the time we have no control over. So once we, as the neonatal nurses, once we are aware, anybody who comes to the maternity ward and they are premature, the neonatal nurses, we get a heads up. We have a mother here. She's how much ever weeks gestation, and she looks as if she's going to deliver. So we'll notify the pediatrician. We tell the pediatrician, we have a lady on the maternity, she's this amount of weeks, and we as the neonatal nurses know exactly what we have to prepare for this baby. So we'll go in, we'll start setting up the incubators, making sure that everything works, and ready for when this baby comes. And we know what to expect, what complications can arise within whatever period, so we know exactly what to look out for.
Well, the work that you do is very important, life-changing. In fact, Jurene, I know that you appreciate those words even more so. Before we end, there was one question that I had for you that I did not ask. What are the names of your sons?
Keon and Keonche Roach.
Okay.